Hello, welcome to the Interjections podcast. This is the Undiscovered decade, where we look back at the 1990s. We go back 30 years in time to the exact month that this episode is released. That would be April 1994. And we're going to cover a movie starring someone we actually already covered before, but we do love his filmography. And this was actually an underrated gem that kept popping up in all his obituaries. You'll see him hovering over Cory's shoulder there, Ray Liotta. We started a new little format this year to pick who does the synopsis of the movie. So you'll see behind this, ready to spin, there are 4 colors. And
ready to spin or else.
Jimmy is purple, it looks like. Yellow is Jeff. And then Cory and I have not gone. Oh, I guess Jeff's up there. Why does it say Cory?
I did it last time.
Yeah. Oh, I guess it just...
Jimmy's got the best odds.
Ad, it looks thicker.
Jimmy's got the best odds.
Jeff is red, yeah.
Hit the button.
Hey, what do you know?
And he wasn't ready for this before.
I said I didn't want to do it, and here we are.
It hears you. AI is everywhere.
Oh, dude, I'm going to be getting the last 3 months of this freaking year.
Yeah, I just we'll keep rambling, I guess. So Ray Liotta plays a character who is accused of murdering. I believe he knows he's murdered someone. It's pretty obvious. The first shot is him murdering someone. So he's sent to a massive security prison run by a warden, a sadistic warden that wants to own everyone's lives and run them into the ground and stuff. And he acts up and fights back, and so they send him to the island, which is populated by 2 different groups that are essentially like the lost tribes from the show Lost. There's the outsiders and the insiders. The outsiders are run by another sadistic-esque warden, Merrick, played by Stuart Wilson, and he just wants to run things a little chaotically. It's like gang mentality where like the winner rises to the top, whoever has the best weapon, that kind of thing. But he escapes them and runs into the insiders, where several other of our supporting actors are. They have kind of a utopia, despite being in what is essentially an unescapable island prison. And from there on, they go back and forth. They fight the outsiders a bit. They try to escape. He learns about each of the people that are on the insiders. And eventually there's an all-out final battle with the outsiders. And will he escape? Will others escape? Who knows? So... he ends up escaping. Every good person escapes, unless you sacrifice yourself. One person sacrifices themselves. So we'll talk about that.
Did you say what year it was?
Oh, right. Guess what year it is? 2022.
The far off year of 2022.
Yeah.
Like that Harvey.
2000.
I totally forgot.
Like that Harvey Birdman clip.
I totally forgot. I was going to be like, let's go back in time.
You know, it's funny. They weren't wrong with how toxic the prison system had become. So, like, they were pretty accurate with that one.
They do.
No,
privatization of prisons. Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
It's toxic, but they didn't have the luxury of like buying an island and turning it into part Jurassic Park.
I wouldn't be surprised. There are no women on this island, so that is interesting. There's not one woman in this movie. I think that's the first time this has happened.
No, until you find out that Merrick could also procreate by himself, and then then it is Jurassic Park.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if there was some kind of island prison that we'd never heard about that has been happening, but this is also a dystopian future where like the whole world is a desert.
Yeah.
So,
it's like a super duper max prison. Yeah, so like the whole world is a desert, so let's give the nice lush greenery to the condemned.
Yeah, I don't know.
Actually, I didn't even think about that till you just said it.
I want to know what this world is about, because everything but the island is seen in a conglomerate, like a skyscraper.
Yeah. So let's give them the vacation paradise to the worst people on Earth.
Right. Well, they want to play out Lord of the Flies.
Right.
That's why I shouldn't have worn the shirt.
Hunt each other for sport.
Yeah.
When he's taking the transport to the warden's quarters, I thought it was Mars.
Right.
I said that too.
They weren't on another planet, because I missed part of it. And
it's Earth.
It was Earth the whole time.
Yeah, it'd be silly if they brought him to Mars, took him on the train. We're like, never mind, let's go to this Earth island.
Like they don't have it. They have a really indirect route to get there, you know?
Because he all of a sudden is on a helicopter to Jurassic Park.
Yes.
I swear that was the same cut through
looks
that
like the same
the
filming
helicopter
location.
takes.
It was probably the same island.
Yeah, maybe the same footage, like Cory said.
Someone called up Spielberg and like, "Hey, buddy,
You got some more B-roll.
where'd you guys film that stuff?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did look it up. It's mostly in New Zealand and Australia, but there's at the bottom of the locations is Hawaii. So I imagine they just shot second unit.
Which is weird. I don't remember any Kiwi actors in this.
Well, isn't Martin Campbell the director from Australia or New Zealand?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he is New Zealand. Okay. And I think Stuart Wilson's at least British. Most are American. Yeah. Ray Liotta, Ernie Hudson. Who else? Lance Henriksen, the best actor in 1993.
Yes.
Well, Hollywood hasn't gotten into relying on local talent yet.
And then knock off Wayne Knight. What was his name?
Oh yeah, Michael
Lerner.
Lerner. That's funny.
Lerner.
That's funny.
Actually, I thought he looked.
It's
strikingly like
it's Jurassic Park with
Roger
people.
Ebert in this.
He did look like Roger Ebert in this. That's why he's in Godzilla.
He plays Mayor Ebert. What did you think of the casting of Ray Liotta as the hero this time around? He's usually the heel.
Well, he's a bit intense still. I turned to Jimmy and I'm like, he's really good at playing really torn up people.
It's in the eyes.
Yeah, it's in the eyes, and he knows how to. I turned to Jimmy and I'm like, you think he ever killed a person in real life? Because he seems like he knows how to play that.
Method acting for Goodfellas.
Him being ambiguous with the two gangs was an asset at the beginning, and then it became a flaw as the movie went along because I wasn't sure what his motivation was or who he aligned with, because he was like chaotic neutral.
Yeah,
most of the movie. Obviously, like once they reveal the backstory, it's going to be he's did something altruistic. You kind of figure that much because he's the hero, but because it's casting Ray Liotta, you're like, I'm not quite sure. He could be a real anti-hero in this. I'm not sure.
He definitely played it well, and then like toward the end, you're still not quite sure like which way it's gonna go with it. Like if he's gonna stay,
really, he's the hero.
Try to escape. Right? No, but that's the thing.
I guess,
he's the hero. But the way that, and it also goes with like how the story's set up, because like it raises the stakes to the point where like, will he try to actually still leave, or will this?
Oh,
or will he just like
go see the father? Yeah, the new father.
Well, it's weird. The leaders of each faction are actually played by people who are kind of pigeonholed as villains. So even Lance Henriksen is usually a villain and stuff like this. So it was weird to see him as the peacenik father.
It's good. Well, it's because they shot it in New Zealand, so everything's upside down.
That's what it is. The toilet spin back.
Right.
I'll tell you what. Some of it's really well paced, and I think the action's really well done. You can tell this is like Martin Campbell's calling card for. He eventually did Bond after this.
Yeah, the next movie I think is Goldeneye, right?
Movie's Goldeneye.
Yeah, next year.
There's a bit of a slow patch in the middle.
I was going to say that, yeah. I feel like there's a bit too much back and forth because you get the sense of how big the island is right off the bat because he's running through the forest, he falls off that into the lake, and so you think you know what the geography is. So for him to go back and forth and then not to just have that final battle right away, if they're holding off on fighting, why fight now?
Right.
So then they toy with him with Kevin Dillon. I felt like that was a little slow.
I thought Kevin Dillon was surprisingly. I thought he was going to be the traitor in the group because he usually plays that.
No, he's the damsel.
Mm-hmm.
I like the damsel. I liked his character arc in this, and actually, he's one of the few people in the utopian community that you're talking about that acknowledges that they've done stuff in the past. Because everybody else kind of comes off like a hypocrite. I'm like, how'd you get on the island?
I think Ernie Hudson, like they either brought it up or they just mentioned that he was there from the beginning. I don't exactly know, but like a lot of the other characters, when we got to know them, they gave a little quick, oh hey, this is who I am. This is what I'm in here for. Pause for dramatic effect.
Maybe I just zoned out for those moments.
Yeah, like at the Christmas party, they're like congratulating every member of the community. He's like, hey, let's not forget why we're here, okay?
Ernie Hudson's
done things in the past.
Ernie Hudson's like, hey, you remember when all those ghosts escaped in New York City and thousands of people died?
Yeah,
that's why I'm here.
Hey, I was just looking for a steady paycheck, okay?
I hate to
Yeah.
bring it up, but I read the one trivia fact about why he took this role. Apparently,
Yeah.
he had been in The Crow, so he was there for Brandon Lee's death, which just happened 30 years ago. And
We'll talk about that
in our
next month.
timeline. Yeah. So Crow's coming out next month, right? Finally.
Yep.
Because it got delayed a little bit because of the death. And so he had been there the day it happened, I believe. So he took this part to kind of chill out. He wanted to get away from America.
Makes sense.
Just go.
So this was his like not a vacation job, but more of a therapy job. Like, okay, I'm going away now. I don't want to deal with bullshit. I was like,
No better place to go
later.
than New Zealand, right? For
You have to go
Yeah.
hang out in the
Beautiful.
tropics, build a fort,
Yeah.
you know,
Become best friends with some dudes.
camp with some guys, maybe like yell at each other now and again.
Scream at the moon.
Real bonding experience.
Yeah, I mean, he was pretty good in this, though. I liked him a lot, actually.
He's great.
It's kind of forgettable, to be totally honest with you. He
Maybe
fills in
that's
the
all it
gaps. He fills in the gaps where the screenplay is lacking sometimes.
Yeah.
Same thing with
Don Henderson does that too. The cook, Killian.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing I've ever seen him in. I know I pointed this out to Jimmy, but he's one of the Imperials in the first Star Wars. He's the one that is not choked out by Vader, but when that guy is choked out by Vader, he's like, let's move on. We're talking about a Death Star.
Yeah. Stuart Wilson is delightfully hammy in this.
Oh yeah, he's nibbling,
he's like the true star,
chomping on the scenery.
Yeah.
But he's fantastic in that.
Yeah, like even in like lesser movies like Turtles 3, he's the best part.
Good movie.
He's like basically trying to recruit Ray Liotta to be like his second in command. And he's like showing everyone around. He's like, this is our aquatic director right here. And it's a little bit of a Escape from New York kind of setup. Because they're about
I got that.
And he kills the guy right away.
Yeah.
He's like, we seem to have an opening now.
Yeah, that was a good line.
Yeah.
He goes full Joker.
I did like Ray Liotta at that point because he laughed at that genuinely enough that I thought maybe he was going to hang out with the Outsiders for a while.
Yeah. I don't know how much they spent on this, but to see all like the practical sets and everything, it looks like very Swiss Family Robinson, especially in the Insiders camp.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine that you don't get practical sets like that anymore.
No.
Not doors.
I was just saying to Jimmy, I was watching the movie Extraction over the weekend as well from 2020. And well, there are some decent stunts in that. There's a scene in which he's jumping off a mountain into a lake as well. And there's chase scenes. And there's only like 4 to 5 guys chasing him at any given time. And not to exactly compare it to this, but I was thinking about the state of movies now where they like fill in with CGI because it's a little quicker. When they're chasing him through the forest, there's so many people and you get the depth of the camp. They say there's how many people in the Outsiders now, and there's only 82 of us in the Insiders. There's a couple.
Yeah, there's like 600 Outsiders.
Yeah, and
you like it's 6-to-1 odds.
Yeah, you get the
survival.
sense of how many people are chasing Ray Liotta in the beginning when they surround him on that cliff. And there's sweeping shots, which obviously they didn't have drones yet, but we have drones now and can't do that kind of shot because we don't go to the location. We don't build the sets anymore. So I think it's a shame.
Well, apparently, because I was watching, I got the deluxe like Blu-ray, and Martin Campbell was talking about how the ending's a little anticlimactic because you think there's going to be a big battle. Apparently, they had that all storyboard, but they couldn't afford it. So it's like, what if everybody just kind of like played possum and hid?
That's fine.
It's fine because it's a big battle in like the second act. So I don't know if we needed another one.
It flips the script then. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually that's one of the few times where like you come into a script problem where you can't afford something, and I think they make it better in a way.
Yeah, sometimes they result in this being better than what they'd expected. You have 2 battles, it might have been boring.
Right.
So it benefited them in the end. That's the kind of movie I like.
On top of that, in terms of violence, it's very grisly and R-rated, which I think is to its benefit. Nowadays, it'd probably be PG-13. They would have narrowed down some of that, the gore and everything. But as good as Stuart Wilson is, I wish there was more Michael Lerner.
Yeah, they said
because he goes away from large portions of the movie.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of watching them. He does have other stuff to do with the prison, but
I guess, but
we never see any
Yeah,
of
but like
that.
this is the
He seems to care about the island, but then never gets involved until the very end.
even though he doesn't need to because he's had a spy on the inside the whole time.
Oh, right.
You know?
that's true.
Oh, right.
I forgot about him.
That
Do you
old
know that
chestnut.
actor?
He looks familiar. I'm sure he's been in. Hang on. I'm gonna look
Ace
it up.
Ventura: When Nature Calls.
Is he in that? Is that who he
Was
is?
it that?
Yes.
I know who
That's
you're
his
talking
sidekick.
about.
That's right.
Yeah.
He played Churchill in an episode of Doctor Who.
That makes
Cool. Cool.
I just wish there was a big like showdown between like Lerner, Liotta, and Stuart Wilson.
Yeah, there really isn't.
Yeah.
Huh.
Apparently they
Makes
reshot Stuart Wilson's death to make it more extreme.
That did get pretty bloody, yeah.
Yeah, that was like, dude, exploded. I don't know. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we didn't.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of any other. Oh, you know what was fun? Jimmy didn't realize it was Kevin J. O'Connor at one point. So he leapt up and was like, Benny from the movie.
Yeah. No,
I'm on the other side of the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Once when his hat was off and he walked in the hut, I was like,
He's so young.
bastard.
He looked like a baby there.
Speaking of which, they're re-releasing the Mummy for the 25th anniversary this
In
month.
theaters?
Yep.
Oh, I want to go see that.
It's funny because I remember seeing a promo for it in one of those like kids magazines that you get in school, like one of those like whether it's science or history or whatever, and like I think it was social studies class that we got this little magazine, and like the Mummy came up, and then a few articles later they were talking about Y2K.
I remember that issue. That was my favorite.
World, so it's like,
Right.
So No Escape is a period piece now.
Wow.
No, is it because it took place in
3 years ago?
3 years ago, 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm already in 2025. I forgot.
It-
Ernie Hudson's
it-
80 already.
It reminds me of that that scene from the Harvey Birdman Attorney at Law series when like George Jetson comes in and he's just like, so you're from the future? And he's like, yeah, we're from the far off year of 2002. And then he looks over at the calendar and it's 2004.
Yeah.
Instead, we get mega prisons on tropical. Like, I kind of want to be a criminal. Like, it's what this movie makes me want to.
yeah.
Like, if that's the best of the
I'm-
best, the rest of the world thinks we're dead, and we just get to like survive on an island. Like, I'm fine
Just go
with
to
that.
permanent summer camp.
Yeah. I
Right.
want to know what the rest of the world is like.
I was gonna say,
A little
now that
bit.
you said that, it makes no sense why they would
Like, if that's the worst, the rest is
everything's
it's.
so lush. There.
Yeah.
I imagine it takes place in the same world as RoboCop, though, where it's like
That's fine.
everything's just this mechanized dystopia. Like
Yeah.
Terminator, RoboCop, and No Escape all take place. In the same-
OCP owns the prisons.
Mhm.
Yeah, right. Could be.
I was gonna say the only real stuff that's future technology is they have a big hologram at the beginning.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Well, and those weird guns that they had that just,
and the
they
fact
barely
that
shot.
one of the main plot things is they're trying to like revive an old Chevy engine.
The V8, yeah.
Yeah, it is like, but I do appreciate that though because the level of detail that they went into, like, they very clearly were wearing handmade clothes
Mhm.
made by people who weren't physically trained in this, like, but they had literally rebuilt society with what they had.
Yeah.
But over the course of 13 years, which is actually pretty impressive when you look at like how elaborate a lot of those systems were.
Hmm.
But
So the prison
Like
started
Rube
in
Goldberg
09?
devices.
no, I'm saying that particular area of it, like whatever the prison was probably, had existed and slowly been getting consolidated for the last 30 years. But this one island situation where they're like, you're the worst of the worst. Everybody thinks you're dead. We're going to throw you on this fucking island. Well, that was probably 13 years ago. And that was the way I read it.
Mhm. Did you see that Kevin Dillon was going to die the moment you saw him? Like
Yeah.
me?
I figure he dies.
Those
Most
bright
people-
eyes, it said it all.
He looked all excited to hang out with Ray Liotta, and I'm like, he's going to sacrifice himself. It's
Yeah.
going to happen.
It's those puppy dog
Plus-
eyes.
Yeah,
Especially
the
with his
whole Yeller
backstory, I
act.
was like, "There's no way they redeem this guy unless he kills himself."
I
He's
think it's
like-
weird.
Ray
that-
Liotta redeemed himself, though.
He's
You think
usually
it's-
pretty grating in movies, and he wasn't in this. I actually liked him.
Yeah. I didn't dislike anybody. I thought everyone did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Everyone made sense for their character, even if they were a little underwritten or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously Stuart Wilson chewing that scenery. So good. Do you think it's odd that Lance Henriksen knows what disease he has? Could he have had that before? I didn't look.
Well, he was
Hodgkin's
a
disease up.
He's a
surgeon.
doctor.
He was a
Oh,
surgeon.
right. So he'll
Yeah.
understand. He'll
So
take
he would
some
know
blood
the
tests of
symptoms.
himself. Yeah.
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 And they have, if they can build a distillery, they can figure out how to make blood tests.
Yeah. That's true. Maybe that's what's in the juice.
As I said,
Right.
they got moonshine on this island.
Right.
Mhm.
That's all you need.
Would it be Mars shine
Ooh.
if it was actually Mars?
Maybe that goes into his
Europa shine?
Henriksen's character. Like maybe that goes into his backstory. Maybe he was diagnosed whenever he was diagnosed back before prison and
Before
started
killing his
growing.
wife.
Yeah, he started growing distant from his wife, and
Allegedly.
she got bored, so she starts sleeping around. But then,
Right.
like, she thought he lost
Yeah,
interest
allegedly.
in her
He's not
because
Robert
she's
Vaughn,
trying to get
okay?
him to pay attention to him. But then, like, you know what? The love of my life doesn't love me anymore.
I have
But then
Hodgkin's
he gets
disease.
blamed for murder.
Right, but was he there since the beginning too? Like he would have been there for the 13 years. So living
We
with
obviously had
Hodgkins
the
for
falling
13.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you have it for 13 years. That's what I'm looking up. You have swollen lymph nodes, and it's cancer of the immune system known as the lymphatic system. So I don't think it's.
Yeah. You know what else I think? I think it's a movie and they needed a way to kill him off.
Yeah.
So I liked it. I like this movie.
What would you give it, Jeff?
I would give this an A-, because of his questionable Hodgkin's diagnosis. But
Bumped it up for that roughness.
I think you liked that
it
part.
was it was good. It was very well, like I wasn't sure what to expect when it opens up with all of these like dystopian title screens and things, but at its heart, it was actually very well done and well acted, and it was good.
You know what I
It was
expected
fun.
from the beginning? I didn't know where it took place, so I didn't know it was going to be an island escape. I thought it was going to be very close to the Andor prison sequence, the couple
Oh.
episodes where they're in a prison the whole
wish.
time. So I thought it was going to be more like Aliens 3 in a way.
Gotcha. Might be the same sets. Who knows?
Right. I guess I should say what I was going to give it. I'd give it like a B+.
Okay.
Though I did like it. It's bordering
Yeah.
on A-.
Ditto B+. Good movie. But there were some like little bits like in like details. I was like, okay, all right. This is a 90s flick. But then also like I was a bit put off by the prop design for like the future gear, like proper future gear, like the rocket gun that he had kind of looked a little comical and like kind of like a kid's toy gun.
They're probably selling
then,
toys to this back.
Yeah, and then the armor that the guards were wearing was like
It's
kinda
it's island supplies.
But Jimmy, how'd you
Yeah.
feel about the Hodgkins?
well, I mean like the armor, like the security guards from the prison.
Oh,
like,
sure.
yeah, their
Yeah.
armor
Whatever
looked
that-
cheesy. Like if you're on an island, you're gonna make do with what you got. But like the
Yeah.
armor that like they showed up in the helicopter, I'm like, yeah, no, like I can't. You guys are gonna lose badly somehow, and they did.
They figured out, it's the whatever mentality that the pointier your helmet, the deadlier you look. Taking some lessons from World War One.
Oh no, you gotta be tactical. You gotta be streamlined. Like,
Tactical.
Tactical.
Yeah, tactical.
That's nice. I like that.
I would probably give it a B-, only because I think it's very white knuckle and it's good proving ground for Martin Campbell, especially since he went on to do Bond and some other things. But that like midsection lull
Mm-hmm.
it takes you it's a bit of a hump to get over, but then it comes back at the end.
That's what dipped it for me. I probably would have had it higher because this feels like a fun movie that everyone slept on.
Right.
It is like I said, one of the movies a lot of people cited when Ray Liotta passed away. That I love No Escape, catching it on TV.
It's one of the few times he's a leading man, so
Mm-hmm. It
It
is his
is-
follow-up directly to Unlawful Entry.
oh yeah.
So we did do back-to-back Ray Liotta movies, even though it's 2 years apart. So he took 93 off. I don't know what he was up to.
Probably got paid well for this, and he's like, I'm just.
I
And
get a
the
break.
movie didn't
Yeah.
do well either.
No, I know.
This is a hidden gem.
Yeah,
Hannah.
Didn't it make only like 10 million? Something like that. Yeah, worldwide 17.
Oh wow.
Not good.
Yeah,
Even for inflation, that's bad.
that's okay. What else came out this month? What was
Well,
beating
it's-
it at the box office?
Funnily enough, looking at your notes, my number 5 movie was displaced by this, or displaced this, which was With Honors,
Mm.
a cloying Harvard drama about Brendan Fraser, trying to get his term paper rewritten by a bum played by Joe Pesci,
Speaking of the Mummy,
which is weird because Joe Pesci's usually pretty nuanced as performances, but he's playing like a Charles Bukowski drunken poet type stereotype, and it's completely unconvincing, and it actually gets pretty aggravating as the movie goes along. Then also my number 4 movie is Backbeat, which is about the Quarrymen.
oh,
The precursor to you know, the Beatles
I
and
forgot you told me about this.
their tour of Germany. They follow Stephen Sutcliffe, played by Stephen Dorff, who was a singer.
Stuart Sutcliffe.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm a
Stuart Sutcliffe.
Beatlemania fan.
It's crazy. Anybody who knows anything about the Beatles is like encyclopedic about them. But actually follows his story arc, which honestly was not that interesting. So whenever it was just
It's
solely
the
about,
reason he's not a Beatle.
yeah, I was gonna say they do cover Pete Best in this, and they do have a little shout out to Ringo. He's sleeping in his bunk, but the movie itself is just kind of there's a reason it's a footnote in the Beatles journey.
Yeah.
But then my number 3 movie is a new noir by John Dahl called Red Rock West with Nick Cage, Dennis Hopper, J.T. Walsh, Lara Flynn Boyle. Nick Cage plays a drifter who comes into this this small town in Texas, who's propositioned by J.T. Walsh to kill his wife.
Mm.
But the funny part is he thinks that he's a assassin who's sent there, who's actually Dennis Hopper. So it's almost like Coen Brothers-esque. There's a running gag with the entering sign to the town and the exiting sign to the town, where he keeps getting sent back and forth. It's a really good movie. And actually it almost didn't get a theatrical release. It was going to go direct to Showtime, but Siskel and Ebert reviewed it positively, and they decided to give it a theatrical release. My number 2 movie is Clifford. Now this is an underrated gem here. This is Martin Short plays a little boy who wants to go to Dinosaur World, which is being designed by his uncle, Charles Grodin. Now, as idiosyncratic as that premise sounds, it's actually very funny in the right context if you have an offbeat sense of humor. Just watching Martin Short volley back and forth with Charles Grodin, who's clearly not amused by his antics, is great.
It's sort of gotten a cult following in the years since.
Absolutely.
As sort of a good bad movie.
But my number 1 movie is When a Man Loves a Woman, which
oh yeah,
we do. The other month I was talking about a movie called Flesh and Bone with Meg Ryan, where I found her to be kind of lackluster in terms of dramatic chops. In this, she completely does a 180, and she's fantastic. She plays a woman who's kind of a perpetual drunk, and she is she's basically being nursed back to health by her husband, which is Andy Garcia, and she gives a tour de force performance. She's fantastic.
This may be her best performance in her career.
I think so.
I would say, based on what I've seen.
Jeff has something to say about this.
No, not about this, but I had to look up because I was like I couldn't remember the Clifford thing, and so I looked it up. When you said Martin Short, in my head I thought Martin Lawrence, and I'm like, so I'm imagining Martin Lawrence going toe to toe with Charles Grodin, and I'm like,
he would.
What a film that would have been.
That
would have been good,
especially in '94.
Right. That's why I was just like, I don't know, it didn't click in my brain. It was like, oh right, Martin Short, but
you're already ahead of yourself on the poster board.
I know.
You're making better movies. Y'all ready for this extravaganza, Jeff?
You got
last year we did a bunch of these, and
oh boy,
We had you get a ton of points to make up for how terrible you did other times.
Terrible.
Okay, so this is poster white background with the dude facing away.
I didn't even know
Clearly
what
wearing
that
a he's wearing a graduation cap that is clearly made of a
Good.
pizza box.
Hey, you got it.
Pizza
Boom.
box. Yeah, of course it's a pizza box. Yeah, it's filled with leftover pizza and cigarette butts and beer cans and bottle caps and graduated in 94. So there's it's a contemporary comedy.
Sure.
Everything held together with a thumbtack.
Yeah,
This has got to be
like
some
that.
sort of like some sort of old school type, burnout comedy. That I'll never think of the title of. I'm gonna guess. No, it's too young to be Colin. It's too old to be Colin Hanks. But like I'm just guessing from the back of his head.
I mean, I left their names in. I wasn't worried about that. I was never going to ask
Okay.
you who's in this. And the
I don't think
title is
that's any of the
so
characters' heads.
it's vague enough anyway that I was going to ask you the title later. So right now, I just, based on this image, what do you think the plot is? I was going to ask you what's in the box, but you guessed that it was a pizza box anyway, and I forgot there was a beer can. So I don't really. You got it. I was worried that it was hard enough to tell what it was, but you can tell by those perforations, I'm sure.
I think it's some sort of slacker, like somewhere between Animal House and Van Wilder type.
Yeah.
Slacker college comedy.
Yeah, you could see that Jeremy Piven's in it.
Yeah.
So.
And David Spade.
Yeah. So you can imagine what kind of comedy this is.
Underground. Oh, music by Steve Vai. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I think it's just going to be one of those like party time, excellent.
Is there anything unique to this plot, Cory, that he should try to figure out? Or should we move on? He essentially got it. It's not that
he basically got it.
Hard of a plot to figure out from this poster.
They're also trying to solve a murder. I don't know.
Yeah, what would you come up with based on this poster? That's the key to poster board.
So clearly, all right. So based on this poster, he's a grad student with an addiction problem, trying to grow up. He's trying to grow up, and then he gets whisked away into some seedy underworld. And that's how he like comes of age and figures his life out, is by accidentally helping a bunch of gangsters.
Okay. What would you do as a tagline for that? Or this actual movie?
4-year party with an $80,000 cover charge. I don't know.
That's not bad. Yeah, that's something to do. I'll give you a couple. I'll throw you a bone for that one.
They're going
a bone.
Yeah, here's the actual one.
Flunk them if they can't take a joke. Is this like Womp in Circumstance?
That's funny. That's a good title.
Yes.
Any other titles you could come up with for this? I mean, it's we were as
pretty
vague
hard
as
for him
possible.
to pick this.
Well, he's not going to know the actual name. That's why he's picking his
The Graduate 2.
Like TOO.
Class Clown. Yeah, the grad to it.
No, you did fine. Womp in Circumstance is pretty funny.
Scholarship.
Yeah. You're coming up with it. I'm trying to make you a marketing exact, like, what would you call this movie?
This is my training.
Right. This is the actual name.
The worst title.
Yeah, it's not going to get anyone to go see that. I didn't know this was even about college until this poster boy.
You know what this reminds me of? It's like a sequel to to the Not Quite Human series, where like Chip goes to college and tries to fit in. Now there's a movie.
I don't know what that is.
You don't know what that is?
No, what is that?
Alan Thicke, and it basically like it was like early
Alan Thicke
live action Disney, but he builds an android son, and it's like an AI thing, and he like sends the kid to high school. And
this is a Mandela effect. I think you dreamt this.
Yeah, I've never heard of this. This sounds awesome.
It never existed, Jeff.
Yeah, there's another universe where you have an Alan Thicke show, no one else does.
And it should. No, it wasn't a show. It was a movie series.
A movie?
I never
series.
Heard of
3.
What?
There were 2 of them. There were at least 2 of them.
Maybe you said Disney. So
was this a Disney TV movie?
The Wonderful World of Disney.
This was right after The Librarian.
Yeah, this was like after the Absent-Minded Professor, but before The Descendants, like somewhere in that timeline.
My Data with the President's Daughter type of.
Right. Basically, it was based. Alan Thicke builds
First
data, sends data to college.
All right, here's your second one.
Wait, hang on. What was the other one about?
Oh yeah, you got it.
It's
That was it?
It's Port Chester University, but they've outlawed fraternities.
Oh,
So there's an
okay.
actual plot. That's a
Barely.
specific thing.
It's just like old school.
Okay. So
I did not hide who they are because you would never come up with this.
I would never no, I don't even know
These are
who these
very
people are in real
90s
life.
names here.
So this is very clearly something that it looks like something that you would have found in the back room at Blockbuster.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
What non-porn
two-
plot do you think this has?
Two Navy officers are holding a woman with very long handcuff chains and just dressed in like an officer's uniform and nothing else.
Like a Halloween.
Like
Well, like
quality.
officers
Yeah.
or police officers, because those are like
I
Navy
think
equivalent of MPs. Because you got to see the SP instead of.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
Jimmy, why don't you
Jimmy
explain
knows the
the
hierarchy.
No,
Okay.
just one little thing, because like you're saying they're officers, and one
one of them's
they're
well,
both
they're
at
in
least
Jimmy's really
seamen.
taking umbrage.
Demerit.
they're in the Navy and they're wearing armbands and weapons. So I assume
Yes.
officer. I don't.
Is that what that is? Shore Patrol?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Shore Patrol. So this
Yeah.
is
Yeah. No, I know MP is military police. SP, I have no idea.
the way that she's holding her hands. The only title I can think for this movie is "Oops." And
What do
then
you-
with each successive sequel, they add an O, like the Google pages.
Oh god. Like
And the
oh
next
god.
one's gonna be them
too.
going, and it's gonna be called Shrug.
So what non-porn plot do you think this has?
You think
She's
there's
a-
That's funny.
She's a reporter who finds herself on some sort of battleship doing investigative reporting and then has to use her feminine wiles to escape getting arrested.
Ooh, that sounds good. Is that what the plot is?
I'll tell you. The
You
funny
can
Or-
tell him.
you said.
You can tell him
or-
what the plot is.
I was just say you said non-porn, but it's like there is
Well-
a sex scene in the middle of this that's very softcore. But
Mm-hmm.
Is she just like a stripper that was hired for someone's birthday party and then, they can't get rid of her?
she's a scofflaw, and they gotta pick her up and escort her. It's almost like The Last Detail if it was a if it was a female stripper.
Mm.
Gotcha.
But yeah, her and the McNamara character have like a sex scene in the middle of it. And it's just like you wandered into a Skinamax movie.
Well, it probably played on Cinemax back in the day.
Who sunk my battleship?
What would you do as a tagline for that plot? Knowing the boring version.
Yeah.
Something about international waters.
That's kind of kinky.
I don't know. Think no rules out at sea. I don't know.
Out to sea.
Out to sea. Drop anchor or no. It was supposed to be a routine prisoner transfer, but this was no ordinary prisoner.
Oops.
Oops. Oops.
So do you have a better name than Oops for this? Because the name itself is totally irrelevant as far as I can tell.
It makes more sense than PCU.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
These are bad titles this month.
Yeah.
Jimmy's lost on this.
What? Oh yeah, I've never seen this. I don't know what this is.
Ship shape.
I like that.
I actually like that better.
Yeah, that's good. You get points. Here you go.
Okay. Chasers.
Sure.
Cool.
They're drinking a lot, I guess. And
Yeah.
I guess.
So, like Cory alluded to,
She kept trying to escape.
This has a very famous director. Not normally a director; they're an actor regularly, but they tried their hand at directing a couple films.
But
Gary.
his first movie's a big movie.
Oh, right. Yeah, you're right.
All I see is Gary Busey, and I was hoping that he was the director for a second.
Well, that's Tom Berenger doing his best Gary Busey.
No, he's
face.
talking about the name.
Oh, is Gary Busey in it?
I saw down at the title.
Hey. I missed that when I was editing.
Who
Yeah, what do you think?
Who-
Famous actor around this time. Not huge
famous
anymore.
actor who also directed. Okay, that's what I'm getting.
He's
Also,
more famous from like the 60s through the 70s.
I was gonna say more in the 90s. He's playing villains. So
Yeah. He's in a very big film this year as a villain.
Charles Grodin.
Charles Grodin.
Yeah,
No,
while he was
no,
doing Clifford, he was doing Chasers on the
Right.
nights.
It was more long. Did the
Shit, what's his name? This is not striking me as an Olivier product.
Olivier.
Olivia was dead.
Olivier was dead.
I don't know what he did. Big in the 60s.
Actually made
And
one of the quintessential movies of the 60s.
John
Yeah.
Aston.
Yeah, like counterculture.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's fine. I didn't know if there's so many people.
I mean, I'll
we
probably
have
as
to
soon
give
as
you
the name
hints.
comes right. I'm just
Yeah.
Dennis Hopper. Oh,
Yeah, it's not gonna come up in
Yeah.
your brain unless
No.
we give you hints, you know.
King.
I just
King
thought it was
Coop-
maybe if you happen to get it out of like a couple names, it would have been fun.
King Koopa himself.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
Connect it back to Lance.
Like, he's in it for like 2 seconds. Oh my god.
Oh man, there's more of them.
So yeah, this is number 3 or 4, bud.
Oh, 4. Jesus
Now
Christ.
that's not
It's an
Joan Collins.
extravaganza.
Oh, all right.
Jimmy's thrilled
So,
with this.
That's
It's-
not
Oh,
Priscilla
yeah.
Presley, I'm telling you.
It's a
So I haven't
poster.
edited anything.
It's a
Just took the
layer.
title out.
It's a layer upon layer
Mm.
thing of like some guy's scary looking vampire face. It's like,
Botoxed up for sure.
Mm-hmm.
and there's a kid that's like holding on to his collar for dear life as he's about to jump into the void. Looks like he has some sort of TV remote magical skateboard thing. Is that John Connor?
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
young
That
John
was
Yeah,
the
you're
Connor.
fourth.
good. You're good.
That was my
I
fourth.
I'd
question.
recognize that
Edward
hairstyle.
Furlong,
Yeah, I'd recognize that
Yeah.
hairstyle.
Good, you got it.
So this is some sort of horror movie.
Mhm.
I wanna say
Boy.
it's like a modern take on actually no, I think it's just some kid was in, you know, good guy in a bad situation. He
Mhm,
had a
mhm,
had a run
mhm.
in with some horror demon. Imagine like
Some Hellraiser.
I was gonna say imagine Hellraiser, but like with a dopey teenager.
He is not far off.
Yeah. Good
Really?
enough, right?
It's pretty close.
Okay.
Yeah.
This
So that's good for the plot. What would you say the tagline is for that kind of movie?
he just wanted
It's not clever. So it's not like he's in handcuffs. What's he?
Oops. That's just my tagline for everything now. He just wanted a normal Friday night, but this was no normal Friday night. I don't know. Video store, the movie.
It has
This
to
is-
do with technology. I'll tell you
This
that.
is something you'd find on the shelves back in the day, for sure. I remember passing it, thinking it was just another Hellraiser movie.
The Horror of Hopperville. I don't.
You're stuck on Dennis now.
No. I just want to play. I dare you. An interactive trip to hell.
Yeah.
Bandersnatch. Is this Choose Your Own Adventure? The movie.
Well,
Is that what you would call it? What would you give as a name for this?
Inner Space. It's not Inner Space.
that's Martin
but-
Short.
Yes. Game night or
Oh, it took that.
no?
Like 20 years later.
Yeah.
Right now it's fair game.
Video drome. No, that's not.
You're naming real movies.
Other movies.
Yeah.
RCA
Because of the PCU.
because of PCU.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
know.
good. You did all right.
I'm out.
Do you want to take a crack at it, Jimmy?
I can't not
Why?
look at that guy's eyes and be like
That's
thinking any
Jimmy's.
thoughts, because that's just it's so much to look at in those creepy eyes.
It's like Jimmy's
I
face
don't
whenever
know,
he watches a movie.
Facelift? Is that the name of the movie?
That's not bad.
Facelift.
Before Face Off, we had Facelift.
Yeah.
All right. Not bad.
Hell Dropper. Brain Scan. Oh.
Oh
boy.
Jesus.
Yeah, kind of generic too.
Yeah.
So all three were fairly
Oh.
generic. The next poster has a great title, but
Well, wait, I want to tell him a little bit more.
yeah,
about
yeah.
So this is back when CD-ROMs were all the rage. So this is he gets a CD-ROM that makes him the killer.
Oh,
It's supposed to be an interactive game, but it makes him the killer. So he's like an avatar for a murderer,
okay.
Hmm.
and it's being investigated by Frank Langella's in the movie.
Hmm.
He's a detective.
That was
And
the
this
last thing I was going to ask you. Who
This
else
character
might be
in the
with him?
middle is the trickster, which is basically they tried to do Freddy Krueger for the 90s.
Huh.
Yeah.
But he's really lame.
Okay.
There's no reason why he looks like that.
Does he look like that
Tried
in
to
the
make him
movie?
look like Alice Cooper. You can't really tell from the hair.
Should have just gotten Alice Cooper.
So wait, is that Frank Langella?
That's not
Like
Frank.
that. That's but that's supposed. No, that's not.
No, that's
literally
the
just
avatar in the game, I guess.
Yeah.
gotcha.
Well, it's you know what? That's not even clear.
It's like a Slappy from Goosebumps.
The
kinda.
movie's real incoherent.
Right.
Speaking of incoherent.
Oh, this movie. Oh,
Oh boy.
So
I
yeah,
watched this. I watched it. I can't wait to tell you
Describe
the
this.
premise.
Oh my God. Okay, so
Describe
they're
this.
very
I can't
clearly
wait to tell you the premise of this.
so all right, this is like an Amish wedding. And there's someone very clearly like a I don't know, I want to say a Jenny McCarthy type, in like a denim vest and shorts in a wedding veil, standing next to what I can only assume is a 12-year-old coal factory worker.
Yeah.
With a train conductor hat.
Oh my God, I'm reading the plot right now.
Is this like, yeah, this is like a Rumspringa gone wrong
Kind of.
comedy.
The beginning.
All of the family looks very disappointed. Clearly a traditional religious family because you have the men on one side of the aisle and the women on the other.
Yeah.
The Mennonite. Oh God.
Well,
Oh,
they're
God.
Hutterites.
Yeah,
apparently.
Amish.
Hutterite. Yeah.
Amish. Is this Amish Paradise? Is the movie?
Oh my God, that's the name of the. Is that your title?
Is that actually? I want to say. Is that Anna Nicole Smith?
No. So.
Okay, so this is some sort of arranged marriage comedy or unarranged marriage, if you will.
You are so
This
close.
is,
Yeah. Do you know any traditional things with these communities at all?
just
Also,
about
I
the
looked this up.
Rumspringa
This is
thing,
wildly
but,
outdated, by the way.
Oh yeah. He's close
Uh.
enough, so I'll give him the points. But do you want to describe the plot, and then we can have Jeff come up with a tagline based on that, because he should know the plot before he sees the tagline.
Today he becomes a man.
Sure, that's good for not knowing yet. But
Yeah,
what's the plot,
okay.
Cory?
So the plot is this woman works at a carnival and with her boyfriend, and they scam the carnival boss out of money, and they go on the lam, and the boyfriend actually is from the Hutterite
Yeah,
Hutterite community,
which is similar to
they
the
actually did
Mennonites.
kind of go Rumspringer, so they hide the money there, and through circumstances they get married. He dies in a crazy fucking car stunt, but the tradition is that she has to marry his brother, which is a 11-year-old boy.
This is what happens in these communities, these religious.
Oh, apparently they were up in arms when this movie came out because it's a wildly archaic tradition that they don't go by.
There was an Israeli film from like 10 years ago that talked about this, like trying to shuck that tradition because someone's fiance dies, and so now she's supposed to marry his brother, but at least they're the same age in that movie. But it's about the drama of like, I didn't want to marry his brother, and now my husband to be was dead, So that is a thing that happens in certain religious communities. But then they thought to make it a comedy with a boy.
Well, you gotta know who the boy is.
Is that Elijah Wood? Till death do them part, or until she finds the money.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, is this called Gold Digger?
He hit it, and she didn't know. So yeah, who do you think they are? Because the title will come after that.
I'm trying to think who. Not
Elijah was close to the right age.
Yeah. Christian Bale. No.
Same age, yeah.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Let's see.
Another big film.
He's been older by this point, I think.
Christian Bale? Yeah, maybe a little older.
Yeah.
Because Newsies is 2 years.
When was Rising Sun? He was
87.
Oh, all right. Never mind.
So he's a little older than this guy. Elijah Wood's maybe about this age or younger, actually.
Yeah.
Or Elijah Wood might be older.
Contemporaries. I'm not.
Yeah, I think he's a little older.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Close to right age. He might be a little young, but you name some contemporaries.
Yeah, and the woman, I want to say Kim Basinger.
Too old.
No,
but too old either way.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
This woman's won an Oscar.
She has now. Yeah. In the 2010s.
I'm not gonna. Don't know.
Yeah, I'll put you out of your misery.
What? Wait.
He looks so scared.
Do you know
Oh
that?
my, yeah, no, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yep. Yep. This is
Wow.
right before Angels in the Outfield.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like Angels in the Outfield is next month or something, maybe
Is that
July.
Courtney? Is that Courtney or Patricia Arquette? I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought it was Courtney Cox.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, her eyes
Because-
kind of look like.
Well, because they have the same. I don't know. That I feel weird about that now. That
I feel
you
like
know,
she was blonde at one point. So
David Arquette married a woman that looked like his sister. I don't know, man. It's just hitting me now.
Well, speaking of which, what would you call this?
Till death do us part. No,
For richer or
The
poorer?
dowry.
for richer or for poorer. The dowry. That's actually a pretty good one.
That's not bad, actually.
yeah.
What would you?
Um,
What's another name for marriage?
Hang on, is that Richard Jenkins in the third row?
No, I wish.
Damn.
Oh, it does look like him.
It does.
There is another Oscar winner in this though.
Is it Hitched
Hitched. Ooh,
or
Synonym.
some Pennsylvania Dutch version of it?
down the. Oh yeah. Dutched.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
Dutch.
Oh God.
Did a sequel to Dutch.
Yeah, right.
Um,
Oh,
across
Ding
the,
Dong Dutch.
across the aisle.
Not bad.
Sounds like a movie.
All right.
Holy matrimony.
Yeah. Holy matrimony, Batman.
Oh God.
That
I'm thinking too hard for these 90s comedy
I
things.
gotta guess the director, man.
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, just like the his name came up, but another actor turned director
And this was his last one too.
because he made this. So,
Well, Chasers was Dennis Hopper's last directorial debut.
really, I never knew that. I thought he did one more.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That makes sense because they both suck. So
Yeah, they're both pretty bad. This one's worse somehow.
yeah, well, it's the plot.
I was gonna say the plot doesn't do anything. It's pretty tasteless.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know who directed it.
The director
He
of this
directed
one.
one of the biggest movies of the 80s.
Yeah, directed a huge comedy from the late 80s.
Hmm.
Got a sequel.
So he was an actor. When was he a big actor? When was this?
He was in something that was important in the 60s, and then they revived it in the late 70s, 80s.
What? Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
What?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
imagine this is your
Spock
introduction to
directed it.
Hollywood. Spock is making you do this weird Amish marriage comedy.
Do you know what movie we were talking about from the 80s? What family comedy?
No, I don't remember.
Three Men and a Baby he directed.
Really?
You know that? Yeah.
I did not.
So that was a big deal because then it seemed like he could direct things.
That was
He
the
had
number one
directed
hit that year.
he directed a Star Trek film as well. So
He did two of them, I think.
two of them? Okay.
I think he did three and four.
I think so.
Oh, sorry.
So for what we're gonna do for picks of the month, we all agree Lance Henriksen, best actor of '93 at least. So
First unanimous decision.
yeah. So we were thinking, what would we want to deliver to you as one of our favorite Lance Henriksen films?
Go ahead.
I want to go with the Terminator.
He's barely in the
It's
first
a
one.
small role, but it's a pivotal moment. It's pretty
Yeah.
great. I have a backup if you really want me to do a
Oh,
different
go ahead with it. You want Terminator?
one. I mean, I have one that's underrated, and I'd guarantee two of these people haven't seen it. So,
Oh. I hope
Well,
it's
what was your guess that it was going to be from there?
Tarzan.
Oh no. I get that though.
The one I'm probably gonna you're right. I might pick it. So.
Go ahead.
I was
They're
thinking-
apparently still picking though. We gave ourselves time in the beginning.
I was thinking Near Dark.
Near Dark's decent, yeah. I was gonna go with Dead Man as a backup. I might just
Oh.
switch to that because people haven't seen it probably. So Dead Man's an underrated thing where he's a
That-
bounty hunter chasing Johnny Depp down in the desert
I'm
for-
going with Near
for a
Dark.
murder girl. Yeah, who's he in Near Dark? See the
He's the main vampire in Near Dark. It's a it's like an odor, like neo-noir vampire western.
yeah. Both of those are cool indie choices.
Actually, it's weird because it's a reunion of him with some castmates from another big movie that he did that somebody might pick actually.
Billy Pax?
Billy Paxton and Jeanette Goldstein.
Is she in that too?
Yeah, she's in it.
Who's she? I don't know her. by
She's
name.
in the what? In the other movie
Aliens?
or this
Yeah,
movie?
in Aliens.
Oh, she's Vasquez.
Okay, that was my guess because I remember a woman that looked like Vasquez, but I didn't know the actress's name.
Yeah.
So cool, I was right.
Aliens.
There he is.
There you go. I knew somebody. I knew somebody was gonna pick it. So
We're tiptoeing around.
Well, you guys had something to say, so I'll let you finish. I'll
Oh,
wait.
okay, cool.
no, yeah.
I decided not to interject.
Well, that's the point of the show, man.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have minded. We're also trying to vamp for Jeff.
Listen, I'm gonna say this movie.
No.
I don't know this movie.
No Escape.
Oh,
We never actually said the title, but
did we not?
No
I think
Escape.
we did. We did.
never do.
We might not have.
We'll just dub it in later.
There was one time we
put in
didn't
the
say the
images.
name of the movie the whole time. I
But
forget.
that
Sometime last year we totally missed it.
I loved him in this, and also
He's very good in this.
close second would be, it's not a movie or a TV show, but he was in Detroit Become Human,
Oh yeah.
which is
Oh yeah.
an
Would
incredible
you rather
game.
go with that? We don't mind. We've done that before.
Sure, why not? He was
Yeah. I think for Ray Liotta, you did Vice City.
You're not going with Piranha too?
I did. It's still an acting credit.
Yeah. It's also significant roles for both of
Yeah.
them. So that's not bad. Yeah. I like this.
Okay.
Yeah, this is good. A lot of good roles. It's fun when you get a decent role in a video game too. So what are we doing next month? What is it? June? July?
Flintstones.
May? Oh, is it Renaissance Man already?
We're doing Flintstones.
Flintstones. Oh, Flintstones. Flintstones.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's kind of a big movie then, but people don't appreciate it now. People
There's a
don't
reason.
admire the quality comedy that it takes to adapt an old TV show. The main reason I think, at least for me, we wanted to cover this is because the 90s were flush with adaptations of TV shows, like the Brady Bunch movie and
Addams Family.
yeah, Addams Family. So this is maybe one of the underrated ones from that era. And I've never seen it, and Cory was real big on it. So if he thinks it's great, I'm gonna.
I don't think it's great.
You said, "Oh, we got to do Flintstones."
No, I didn't.
Why do we?
Yeah, we do.
I don't know why we picked this.
We have another segment during this episode that's a surprise. So we'll probably we're going to talk about that other thing more. We'll see you next month for the Flintstones. Maybe Cory will like it better than he implied when we were picking these movies.
So comment, rate, subscribe.
Yeah, I forgot to say that last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we never get any comments. It's 5 years in. Comment on these. I want to know what you think of this thing we're doing. No escape. No escape.
Escaping now.
There's no escape from this podcast.
5 more years. 5 more years in that prison.
Yeah.
Well, you got to remember, I'm originally in Tennessee.
Every once in a while, I got to take Jimmy out of that terrarium, man.
Yeah.
Just to hear a random character on Fox go, "That's our Hitler." What?